AITA for telling my roommate's boyfriend he needs to get out. Story 2. AITA for yelling at my mom because she refuses to call my son by his name. AITA for getting a tattoo that says "rot in hell" over my ex-wife's name. AITA for telling my roommate's boyfriend he needs to get out. I, 20 female, just got a new roommate, 22 female, who is subletting the other room in a 2BR 1BR apartment. She moved in a week and a half ago. The day before she moved in, she texted me notifying me that she would be there in the AM and asked if her BF 30 male could stay with us for like 2 weeks until his apartment was ready. She made it sound like he already had an apartment and it just needed maintenance like paint, plumbing or something. She claimed he works a lot and would be there to sleep. Untrue. He works normal hours, 4-5 days WK. I kindly told her no BC, a strange man in the app would make me uncomfortable, especially since she is a stranger as well. No response. She arrives the next day. Mon. I know her BF stayed the first night BC. I heard them, but I didn't see him. I brushed it off BC. He was helping her move. Next day comes and I get home from class at 2 p.m. and knock on her door to see if she wants lunch. Her BF answers the door and says roommate left to buy food. I was annoyed that she moved him in without consent and especially that she left him there alone with all my things. When she gets back, she gives me a sob story and I agree to let him stay for 2 weeks. We all get along well, but he doesn't clean up after himself. Example: deep frying food every day and getting grease all over the kitchen, dirty dishes, hair in the sink shower, peeing on the toilet seat and leaving it up, etc. If I have to pee or get water in the middle of the night, I feel the need to get dressed. It's just all around annoying. The 2-week mark is coming up soon, so I asked her when his app would be ready last night. She directed me to ask him. BF says a few weeks because he has not signed a lease or given them any money, only been approved for an app. I said next Monday, 4 days away, would be 2 weeks, so he needs to get it figured out by then. She goes to her room slightly irritated and I did not see her again until today. This morning she told me she thought I was rude for how I talked to her BF and she would never treat one of my guests that way. I apologized, but I don't think I was rude, only stern. I said if he was staying longer than the 2 weeks he needs to pay rent. She said he's not paying rent because he's staying with her and already helped pay her half for the month. I made it clear I want him gone by Monday. If he is still here, I will inform the leasing office of an overnight guest who has overstayed their welcome. AITA. Top 5 comments. 1. NTA. Your new roomie sounds painful and her boyfriend is a deadbeat. Get him out. May make your living situation a little tense, so hope she isn't a long-term sublet. 2. NTA. See if you can get out of the lease now BC. She's breaking contract and it won't get any better. Tell them you fear retaliation. 3. NTA. She's lucky she isn't being kicked out with him. Him paying her half of the rent doesn't count. If you're willing to let him stay for a third of the rent, that's great. She has 3 options. 1. He stays and pays 1/3. 2. She stays and he leaves, or 3. They both leave. No other choices. She can pick. 4. I would love nothing more than to kick them both out and go to the leasing office as soon as possible, but I can't. Her name is on the lease and I would like the next 7 months living together to be peaceful. Also, I cannot afford this place alone and it's really hard to find another roommate in the middle of the semester in a college town. 5. At this point, the boyfriend is no longer a guest. He's an unwelcome and unofficial roommate. If he is leaving a mess, eating your food, using your utilities, etc., he at minimum needs to be paying a 13 of the rent, not 1/2 of her 1/2 of the rent. But in all reality, he was not given permission to stay here and you have the right to have him kicked out. It's possible they are even violating the lease. Some places don't allow guests to stay for over a certain period of time. NTA. Story 2. AITA for yelling at my mom because she refuses to call my son by his name. So I, 21 female, I'm going to be having a son soon. I'm a FTM and his name has been picked out for a long time. My 46 female mom doesn't like the name because of a TV show, though that's not why the name was chosen, because she thinks I'm obsessed with the show, but it was my 24 male fiance who chose the name. Mom absolutely refuses to acknowledge my son's name and keeps calling him something completely different. She told me she would call him this for the rest of his life and I had no say. Every time I tried to actually say anything about it, she would cut me off and say I'm not calling him insert name, you're just obsessed with that show. You'll change it when he's born anyway. So I yelled at her that she will call my son by his name, no matter what she thinks, as I do not want my son to be confused as to why he is being called a name that isn't legally his. My mom then called me an A and proceeded to tell other family members, who also called me an AH, so I'm wondering if I'm being a big AH or am I not. Top 5 comments. 1. NTA. But cool down and stop yelling. Simply tell her she won't get to see your son until she agrees to call him by his actual name. Refuse to further discuss it, then enforce it. 2. My mother-in-law called my first kid by their middle name BC. The first name was American and middle was from her country. She got 2 warnings and then a timeout for 2 weeks. If she does it again, she gets 2 months. Your child has a name. If she can't use it, then she doesn't need to be in his life. Also tell us the name. 3. NTA. Samuel. It's like a normal name. Also, she could call him Sam, Sammy, etc. Is the TV show Supernatural? Tony is not nice. Tell her she is obsessed with The Sopranos or that your son is not going to be in the Italian Mafia 0. 4. She can call him by his name or she cannot talk to him at all. Those are her actual choices. Grandma doesn't actually have the right to see her grandkid. NTA. 5. Info. What is the name? NTA, but I'm curious what the name is. Is it some horrifically awful please bully me right the now kind of name? I'm assuming it's not, hence the NTA. Your mom's issue about not liking it because it's the same as a character on a TV show seems highly childish. AITA for getting a tattoo that says "Rot in hell" over my ex-wife's name. When me 39 male and my wife 41 female first got married, we got matching tattoos of each other names. Well, recently she cheated on me and we got a divorce. She got her tattoo of my name removed, and I was planning on getting mine removed, but then I got a better idea. I called my tattoo artist and I got a tombstone on her name, and under it, it says "Rot in hell." When I went over to her apartment to pick up my daughter 8 female, she pointed out the work I got on my tattoo. I asked if she liked. She just laughed awkwardly and that was the end of it for now. Later that night, I'm watching TV with my daughter and my phone start going off like crazy. It was my ex. She was saying how hurtful it was to see what I did to the tattoo and how I should have gotten it removed. I feel kinda bad after talking to her about the tattoo, so was I the e-hole? Top 5 comments. 1. YTA. Not for the ex-wife but for doing that to your kid. As someone whose parents divorced, let me assure you that this kind of shittiness hurts your kid 1,000 times more than it hurts your ex. If you didn't have a kid, it'd be not the in my book. 2. YTA. She sucked as a wife but your daughter can't choose her mom. Every time your daughter sees the tattoo she will feel terrible. Also YTA for making sure your daughter never has a cool stepmom because you're waving your red flag. 3. YTA. You got a "Rot in hell" tattoo of your daughter's mother in a visible place that your child can see. Even if you hate your ex, try to be polite and act like an adult around your child. That includes tattoos that imply you'd like her mom to die and rot in hell. 4. YTA. You're bitter about the cheating. That's fine, but that is still your daughter's mother, and you're openly saying you wish the mother of your kid was dead and burning in hell. No child wants to think of their parent as dead or suffering. This isn't about your wife. This is about having your daughter see such an ugly tattoo about someone she loves. Don't start petty fights, otherwise the person who will end up losing is your kid. 5. YTA, and a very immature one at that. I got a divorce tattoo. Nothing so dramatic, and we never had tattoos of each other's names or anything, but I regret it now. Why? Because I'm no longer so bitter, and seeing it is a reminder of that angry phase I went through, which I would rather forget.